This young woman allegedly cannibalized her little brother in one of the most grisly murders in the recent history of Brazil. It happened on April 4th, 2019, on an otherwise normal Thursday evening. Karina Roque was 18 years old and lived in the city of São Roque in South Brazil. Her family described her as quiet and reserved, as someone who had never exhibited any signs of mental illness or other problems. They said she always took good care of her brother, Maicon, who was 5 years old at the time. On that night, she was left to babysit him for a few hours, just like she had done many times before. Their mother had gone out shopping. She didn't bring her house keys with her, although this was typical. Whenever their mother returned, she would always be able to walk right in, either because they just left their front door unlocked, or Karina would come let her in right away. But when mother returned this time, neither of those things happened. Standing at the door with no idea what's going on, she had to go get help from her brother-in-law. He lived right in the same neighborhood, and after Karina's uncle arrived, he actually had to kick the door in just to get inside. After the two of them finally got inside the house and made their way into Karina's bedroom, what they discovered in there was so gruesome that the mother immediately fainted. Karina tried to flee the scene, even putting up a fight when her uncle and other relatives who showed up proceeded to restrain her. During the scuffle, the family dog attacked her. In return, she bit the dog and also injured her uncle. After police got there, she confessed that she had invited Maicon into her bedroom, saying they could play a game. Instead, she suffocated him with a pillow. An autopsy would reveal that he had already passed away before the mutilations to his body began. His head was almost completely cut off, his wrists were slit, both eyes gouged out, and his feet burned. Maicon's genitals were also missing, as Karina stated that she had cut off his genitals and consumed them. Items found at the crime scene included a tiny pocket knife, a small amount of marijuana, and a mobile phone that was completely burned. Authorities believed the device had been set on fire by the suspect as a way to destroy evidence. There was also a row of candles on the floor surrounding the victim's body, suggesting to investigators that this slaying was intended as some form of devil-worshipping sacrifice. Detectives were going to look into whether Karina had been following satanic groups online or practicing black magic rituals on her free time, as well as the possibility of her being under the influence of drugs during the commission of the crime. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any further information on the results of that investigation because to this day, Brazil hasn't released any official updates. And there hasn't really been any other press coverage on this case. All I can tell you is that Karina Roque was originally charged with homicide and attempted homicide due to the injuries to her uncle. She was initially detained in solitary confinement at Votorantim Women's Prison in Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo is Brazil's largest city, located right next to São Roque. But as far as where she is today, and whether she was ever convicted or even prosecuted, all of that remains to be verified.